Hi, this is Brendan Davis from Bedrock Games, and today I want to talk about martial arts and game mechanics, and specifically get into how difficult it can be sometimes to design systems for things that in the real world are complex, especially if you have firsthand knowledge of them. We spent a lot of time working on the martial arts system for Wandering Heroes of Ogregate, and even before we designed it, I knew a long time ago that I wanted to build a martial arts game. But part of the problem was I had been involved in martial arts for a long time myself, and I was a little too close to it, and it was just difficult for me to simplify the complex skill sets that are required for that kind of activity. Now, I was involved for years in Taekwondo and Muay Thai, and I dabbled in things like boxing and Sanshou. My grandfather was a boxer, so I kind of grew up with that around and with a respect for that. And so when it came time for us to design the game, I found myself often talking in circles, especially like when me and Bill would sit and have mechanic discussions. He would say, "Well, how about this?" or "How about that?" And nothing just felt satisfactory to me. If we were tried to talk about, well, what about a mechanic for parrying, I would kind of start cutting up all of the different things that I thought that meant, and it just never. I just made it too complex, and I also made it far too realistic, I think, for what was required in the game. But I don't know, around 2010, 2011, just for health reasons, I had to stop doing that, doing the martial arts, and I was strictly limited to experiencing martial arts as a viewer or as a participant in game systems, and not as an actual, like not actually participating myself physically. And I think that forced me uh, to see things as a viewer, to see things more the way that a player would see things, especially a player that maybe isn't involved in that kind of activity. And I started to lighten up a lot. I started to realize that we didn't have to prove our pedigree, that we didn't have to show that we could make the most realistic fighting system. That wasn't the point. The point was to make something that was fun at the table. And I had sort of gone back and got really deeply into wuxia. When you're in martial arts, you're kind of always watching these martial arts media, and so I would often go between kung fu movies and wuxia movies. I had a particular interest in stuff like the old Jackie Chan films and the old Bruce Lee movies and the kung fu stuff, but I also liked the wuxia. And then when I couldn't do it anymore, I really found that I was suddenly intensely drawn to the wuxia stuff. I think because it's so over the top. So that's when we decided, okay, we're gonna, I think this is the direction we're gonna go. This is sort of where my brain was, and it really fit, I think, what we were doing mechanically at the time. And I just found that at that point I was able to simplify the game. And I think that this isn't just limited to martial arts or combat. This is an issue that I believe crops up whenever you design something that you have knowledge about, whether it's like actual professional knowledge or just you're geeky about it and you've read a lot of books on the subject. And that's that game design by its nature is reductive. You are reducing very complex things into very simple categories, whether they be skills or attributes or class abilities or whatever. And that's really not how reality works. Reality is a much more complicated thing. If you were to, if you wanted to make something that was more emulating the physics of combat, you do something like a computer simulation model, not a tabletop RPG system. Even complex tabletop RPGs, I think, still have to be reductive to a certain extent, just because you're really dealing with a limited number of abilities that the players are going to. So you might have like, if it, like, for example, if you were to emulate a boxing make a boxing game, the you might have a number of different punches. You might have hooks, crosses, overhand rights, jabs. You might have uppercuts and all that. But even that doesn't. If somebody's a boxer, they know all of the different things involved when people are fighting in the ring. That doesn't capture every element of it. That's still reductive. And so I think that's the thing that I was encountering. I think it comes up just whenever you're designing stuff. So there's a certain point with design where it's actually beneficial to be able to simplify and to kind of let go and just have fun with things. And so that's what I found with our martial arts system, is that it started becoming much more enjoyable for me when I was able to just sort of step back, have fun with it, get a little bit creative, and not really worry about it being realistic. In fact, the more over the top it was, the better, as far as I was concerned, and that really worked for me. So that's basically what I have to say on that subject. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk about some of the comments on the video we did for dungeons in wuxia settings. Got me thinking about specific movies I had seen, so I may want to address some of that in another video. Today I just thought I would talk about martial arts mechanics. So, all right, goodbye.